Hi guys, and look what we have for you today. This is the literally brand new Sinn 156E limited edition piece. There are only going to be 300 of these models available, and I have this feeling they're going to sell out pretty quickly. It's basically, like I've said before, the 156 has been around with Sinn for over 40 years. Prior to that, they had the 155. This was one of the first watches to kind of like feature their aviation style bezel on here. And it's a bit of a cult classic for Sinn. And this one has definitely lived up to expectations. It really is a very striking watch. It's got that definite kind of bold, confident look to it. But before I get too far into the review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review this piece. They have got so much stock. Literally, if you're after a watch, many other companies will say they have it in stock and they don't. But if they say they've got it, they've got it. So if you're in the Midlands area, I'd strongly recommend popping in. If you're a little bit further afield, well, don't worry, because I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page. All I ask is that you do mention the channel. So anyway, let's talk sizes first. We're talking 42.7mm across. The thickness I'm measuring at 15.7, and the lug to lug width, the longest across the point of the watch, across the body of the watch, is 50.9mm, and the bracelet size is 22mm. Now, I think the dial does look very cool. They've gone for this more kind of monochrome, I think, kind of look to it. A little bit like the T50 sort of thing, where the other model has the red hands. They've gone with like the ivory kind of, well, white and red. They've gone with the white and ivory look to this one. It's just got a real kind of clean, nice, good looking dial, I think. We have these two sub dials here. Now, this one here, as you can see, it's got the same colour as the ivory timekeeping hand. So this is actually the seconds for your regular timekeeping. And the chronograph, if I press this button now, nice positive click there. As you can see, there's two hands there. So you've actually got a hand stack with 4 sets of hands on there. Now, this is, the white is for chronograph. So this is the seconds for your chronograph. That reads a minutes, and that reads the hours down there. And it is a real clean way of basically doing it. It's much easier at a quick glance to read what the time is. When you've got the small subdials, it can be a little bit, you know, it's not as clear as and concise as what you have here, I believe anyway. I like this satin black finish to it there. They've got the printed on hour markers there. And these have all got loom. The loom is pretty good, to be fair, on this model. I really, I think it looks no problems at all. Now, an interesting point on this watch, sorry, let's just watch it, just jump over there so you'll actually see how the minute jumps across for the chronograph. Boom, just jumps nicely and lines up perfectly. Now, one of the big differences, apart from the colorway with the other model, is they've gone for this kind of aviation kind of style date aperture here. So I'm kind of 50-50 with this one. I don't know. I do, it does look good, but I'm not sure if I prefer just a more simple, cleaner look to it with just a smaller date window. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. And we got a nice clean script here with the Sinn, Frankfurt, Maine, the movement type, well, automatic, and they're very proud of their movement, the SZ01, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, and a good old made in Germany down there. So once we come past that, we have this nice big domed sapphire crystal on there. There is AR coating on both sides of this, so it means basically it keeps reflections down to an absolute minimal. You'll catch this in certain lights and it's almost like the crystal just disappears, and I do like that. I think it just looks really good. Not everyone's a fan of the AR on both sides, but I personally am. I think it looks really good. Now, as we come past that, we have this good looking bezel. Now, the bezel is a slight different color to the other model. They've gone with a more grey look here, and they've gone with these very striking, very kind of, easy to read lines out there. They haven't gone for just for small markers, but these longer lines. One thing I would say, I would have liked to have seen them etch these into the actual material, but they haven't gone with that, to be fair. It is tagmented. Now, what that means is it's a very hard finish on this. Yes, you can still dent it, and to be fair, you can still scratch it, but it's a lot harder to scratch than normal steel. And one other thing to note, well, apart from the loom pit there, it is a non-ratcheting system. So this is just done by friction, but it's got such a good feel to it. It's like you can see, you've got to put a bit of pressure on there to actually move it, but it feels really, really nice, I have to say. So there you go on that. And as we come round here, you can see how you've got the kind of machined edges going on there, and then you have these small screws, and that is how they actually secure the bezel to the actual casework. You just release these. There's basically an inner ring built into the body of the watch, and these press a small kind of ring piece into that groove, and basically that's the way they lock it in. And it's a much nicer way, you know, to actually remove it, is just back these screws off, and then you can pop that bezel off much easier. It makes it, you know, when I'm polishing watches at work or do anything and you got to remove bezel, this system is just far, far better. Now, as we come past that, we have a very nice, I think they've gone for a real good case design on this. Even though this is, you know, almost 43 mil, and the thickness of the kind of 15.7 mil, it hides it really well, because you look at that and that doesn't look a big watch at all. Even when it's on the wrist, this kind of sinks into your wrist, and it doesn't read as large as what you'd actually believe it would. They've gone with their customary kind of bead blast finish there. That cuts down on reflections. It also makes it a little bit harder because it work hardens the material. Only downside is if you do scuff it, it is kind of noticeable and a little bit harder to remove, but can be done. Now, we've got drilled lugs on this, which is handy. As you'll see in a minute, I'll mention something which will kind of help out with that one. And as we come around here, the end links match beautifully into the case. And on this side, we've got our screw down. Oh, there we go. Our screw down crown there, which is signed. Let's unscrew it. You've got plenty of thread on there, which is always good. This watch does have water resistance, albeit 100 meters of water resistance to it. And the pushers here, nice. Let's have a reset actually before we look around the back. Nice click. Boom. All goes nicely. Now, on the back of this here, you can see we've just got a solid case back. Does it have the issue number? Yeah, it's got the issue number of the watch on there as well. Now, underneath that case back is, as we've said, their SZ01 movement. Now that's based on a ETA 7750, and then they do their witchcraft and basically modify it so you have a central minute counter on there and so forth. And to be fair, it's a pretty good movement. I put this one on the timegrapher, and as per usual with all Sinn watches, it did a very good job. It was coming in at -1 second. Now this watch also has 44 hours of power reserve and 25 joules. So to be fair, it's a good tried and tested movement, no problems there. Now this watch costs about 300, it's around about 300 euros more than the standard model. But what you do get, apart from the exclusivity of the limited edition part, you also get a proper H-link bracelet, where the other one only comes on a leather strap. So you are getting more, and these cost about that much anyway. So the nice thing is that money is going basically on this H-link. Now it has got the standard clasp on the back there, 3 levels of micro adjustment. This doesn't come with the new clasp, but to me that is not a problem at all. As I do prefer this one than the new adjustable clasp. But it also comes with a leather strap included, and the leather strap on this I think would look superb, as it really does suit the watch. The leather strap, It does feel nice. It's got a good kind of solid feeling to it. You do have a bead blasted hardware on the end there with the Sinn logo on there. But I do feel it could age quite prematurely. It's just one of those levers. It looks great. I'd be interested to know how they look, say, a year in or so. So anyway, let's have a quick wrist check, give you an idea how it looks. On the wrist today, I'm wearing my Sinn 144, another chronograph from Sinn, and Bob has gone for the 156 standard one with the red hands. I might do a comparison video of the two, to be fair, so you got an idea how they both look side by side. Quick pose on the wrist. I'm not going to do it up because I don't want to leave any marks on the clasp. But as you can see, I've got a 7¼ inch wrist, which is about 18.5 centimeters, give or take, and it doesn't look too bad. But you see what I mean about how it sinks down into the wrist. So even though it's a 15.7mm watch, it simply doesn't look it. When you look at it there, it looks like a 12mm watch. It really is quite impressive what they've done with the case to make it look good. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you to it at that, but most importantly, you stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.